welcome to my talk show on Asumi Rawat Design and most importantly, smart vibes only. What is smart vibes? What is smart solutions? Today I have with me Dhanraj and Kunal Shah from Uniser Smart Solutions. Today we are going to talk about smart spaces. So Dhanraj, I would like to ask you, welcome to my show, and I am well keen to understand more about smart vibes only. If you can help us understand smart homes, solutions to interiors and design in terms of lightings, in terms of automation, in terms of AV, it will be a great help to all my viewers. Why don't you dive deep into it, Dhanraj?
Thanks, Asumi, for having us. Uniser Smart Spaces is a one-point contact for architects, for interior designers, for clients, for any space owners, where we provide all technologies that are recommended for the given space. Lighting, automation, audiovisual systems, curtain motors, surveillance, networking, and anything else that is related to electrical technologies and modern technologies. What we want to do is provide a one-stop solution for designers to ensure that everything is taken care by us from design to deployment.
So I would like to ask you, Kunal, if today I was coming to you, most architects, we know what is smart solutions, but only till that much degree. We don't know everything about it. I totally believe that design and lighting and automation goes hand in hand. Without the right kind of lights, there is no way that my interior is going to look great, or even my structure is going to look great. So at what stage does one come to you, and how do you help us design our spaces in a better way?
So I think the best way is once the designers set the layout of the space, then they should come to us immediately, because then we can work with you in terms of how should the lighting be placed, where should be the right setting for the lights. We can discuss on mood settings, even your furniture, the color of the shade of the furniture. It only comes out with the right lighting. But nowadays there's so many options in light fittings itself with automation that then we can really look at what's the right fit for that space and how we can really get into automating that space. And automation isn't just about dimming the light. It could be getting into even color tuning the light, maybe going from a white to a warm white. Maybe that improves the overall aesthetic of the space. We're looking at even curtain controls. Even the amount of sunlight coming into the space also plays an effect on that. So getting it from the start would be something great, and we can really get into designing it.
And that's excellent. I have this big problem. Most of the Indian families, that when we deal with them, they have this problem. They're a little bit scared of getting into automation because they feel if they're staying with their parents, will the parents be able to operate? Will our house helps be able to operate it? Will the children be able to adapt to it? So are there any simpler systems to take care of this?
So it's a very important point you brought up, because in our 15 years of doing spaces with designers, I think one of the key challenge that we've come across is the age group and getting the requirements and gathering and analyzing the requirements that they put in. Right, Kunal?
Exactly. Why don't you give us an example? So with the elders and the older crowd, I think for them was scared that I don't understand this technology, I don't know how to operate the system. So what we do with automation was giving them an easy couple of buttons that just pressing it can turn on and turn off the lights. It's a button that can open and close the shade. It's as simple as just pressing a button that could be right next to them on the bed or when they enter the room. It's not about opening their phone or talking to a voice device.
Because Alexa is, all these things which are, controlled by your speech is difficult to manage. I myself get scared of all this. The idea of just going and saying, switch on the light and switch off the light, what if it doesn't work?
Again, we have all sorts of audience in a given site. See, the age gap is there in all sorts of spaces, whether it's a management office, whether it's a home, everywhere this is an issue that we deal with. In terms of the younger ones expecting the best from the technology and the older ones being averse to technology as a challenge. So we want to make it very clear that technology that we're providing is meant for everyone. It is meant for convenience. It's meant for modernization. It is meant to make life simple. And we take a lot of effort of analyzing the requirements that the younger ones give and training the older ones
Hmm.
to simplify the way they need to use that tech.
So you're trying to tell me like most of we architects give a lot of cove lighting, direct lighting, indirect lighting, then we give spot lighting. But I feel most of the times the clients don't know what goes with what. How much ever we might educate them, they always end up not putting the right light at the right time because suddenly if your friends come in, you can't suddenly just run to one switchboard and switch it on and switch it off and so how much ever we sit on design at the end of it, sometimes you go back to the house and you feel like really this should not have been on with this. So how do you give me a solution to this? Like, do you create some mood or how do you go about, like, do you want like me to just come to you and say, okay, I want this on with this and this on with this, and then you arrange it? Is that the method?
The most important thing is once the site is completed is when you and I, as a designer, like come into the site and the team, and they design the right smooth setting. What is where we design what should be the bright setting, what should be the party setting. And that's when we engraving in the buttons.
So even the AC and the your curtains and all are controlled with that?
And with the music kit around to adding music or background.
Wow.
So all of that can be really designed by us, and then it's just a push of a button and it sets the mood.
And does this work like if I am traveling, I'm out with a couple of friends and then I'm coming home and I just want my house to look right? Is there a method for me to do it like from my car?
Yeah, so there's something called geofencing is the term that when a person comes close to their house in the proximity of kilometers, the house can automatically adapt and switch on the lights and
Wow.
the AC. So you don't even need to remember to open your phone to start the AC. Just by being close to your house, it can automatically start.
I never knew that. I had no idea such a thing existed. So you just when you're just in that proximity, it will start.
Exactly. Just
Wow.
And then if you your phone down separate from what your wife's phone could do, or you'll be very different in what the.
And most parents I feel have this problem with white light. Like I face this problem all the time. All the older generations want tube light, as in white light, or the younger ones want yellow. We middle-aged people want daylight. So then how does one deal with this variable, choice of lighting? What do you do for that?
Asumi, we have realized at all our sites that choosing the color of the light has been an absolute debate, whether it's whatever kind of space. Especially when it's a home space where all homeowners have lived in the past with a different sort of light, it's a major challenge. So there are two ways. One is, of course, we blend in tech with you to ensure that the given space is lit up and illuminated the way it should. For example, certain materials, as you know, look best under yellow light, and certain look good under sunlight, and look good after a cool light. So one of the good things that lighting technology has progressed towards is the ability to tune the light. So we are able to give a hotel yellow, which is 2700K, a home yellow, which is 3000K, a daylight or sunlight white light, which is also called neutral light, which is 4000K, and then going ahead with a very cool light, which is a hospital light.
So there are like four types of light.
And the best thing is that I know you for sure, as the raw materials, you would want yellow light that showcases it the best. But let's say that the space owner has a different requirement. At the click of a button, he's able to change the color of his light and get what he wants. Maybe it's a functional requirement. It also very effectively manages a space that can be utilized for dual purposes.
Okay.
Let's say I want to use my dining room also for a given day as a work from home space. So I can use my dining room with the yellow light where it's needed to be and have the same keypad also having it changed to cool white light such that you can also have a working environment in the home itself. So all these possibilities are there. What we want to achieve is something that we should be able to, along with you, understand the client's requirement.
So also I feel in automation, one problem that I face is always costing. Like costing is a big factor. And I feel like, we come, we see, we decide things, and in the end, it's all about costing. So how does one deal with that? There must be different systems in automation, and then again, costing wise, and also the wiring wise. If I want to cut down the number of wires to be used so as to help my clients to cut down their budget, can you give me some guidance on that?
Yeah. So again, we are system integrators. So that's our main thing, that we do not just count with one brand or one solution. And that one solution fits all the spaces.
True.
The idea is that even if it's our knowledge that's put to test, where we kind of see that, okay, what brands going to fit here? What's the requirement? And how can we match this budget? So if wiring is a problem, then maybe we look at a wireless technology.
So wireless, as in, do you have any switch or anything to show me, like how does it work? I have to sit by the desk.
So this is a wireless keypad.
Okay.
It has its own pedestal, so you can even place it on the table and operate your lights, curtains from it.
Wow.
Just a simple switch, you can even remove it and use it as a remote, or you can mount it on the wall. So something like this can be easily done, in a space on your bedside or the entrance of the room that you can control your lighting. So something like this might make sense, where there's not enough of a headboard.
So this comes in other colors also, or it's just white?
No, so we have a good range of colors. We have white, black, we have the metallic finishes. Again, with that, we can even engrave it the way you would like.
Wow, so you're telling me regional language also can be engraved in it?
So we locally engrave it. So again, up to you how you feel you want to have.
That's damn interesting. I mean, if somebody is Marathi, Gujarati, your local languages for parents, and similarly even pictorial format.
Exactly. And then for conference shows that we do, the tables are so huge. You don't want to get up from the table and go to square next door. So why not just keep the keypad right on your table?
So, Asumi, you talked about budget and Kunal addressed most of it. But, one very important thing I want to tell you with regards to budgets is the fact that a lot of vendors out there, their job is to give you the best. So now what happens is that when you go to a lighting company standalone, they will give you the best in lights. And you go to an audio company, they will give you the best in audio and visuals. When you go to curtain motors, for example, they will show you their best curtain motors and so on and so forth. What we are trying to do differently is that when we are with a designer, we want to understand what is the budget that has been thought at a macro level on automation. Understand what is the basic requirement. They would have all of it as a part of their requirement, and then how do we balance that out with the budget that they've thought of. Of course, budgets have to be slightly flexible from all aspects, from our aspect as well as the client. But what we want to specifically work on is, okay, if it's a special, we want to focus more on the master bedroom or or let's say the bar area where they want to entertain a lot. There, we will go high on using the best of everything. There, maybe lighting can take a second because you want to have dim areas. But let's say that if it's an office where lighting has to play a very dominant role, in those cases, maybe the EV system takes a second priority, and maybe we use monetary something that is more competitive at price point. So us as being a solution provider, we're able to reach the budgets that are mentally been set.
So if I can understand this well, you're trying to tell me you're not married to any one company. You can give me a wide range of solutions.
Let me go one step further in saying that we're doing a parallel role to what designers are doing on their projects. We want to make you free because your basic agenda and objective is to deliver the.
Yes, we're not technical guys. If I had to get into this, I would never be able to design. So I am always looking for a one-stop shop, like where I come to you and you've taken care of everything. Then I don't need to go to separate companies, because I feel, and I could be talking for most designers, that it's very difficult as a designer to get into each and every company's vendor and try and sync them all together from my side of it. But if there's a company like you who will help us do everything together, at least for the client, after sales becomes easy, I guess.
So this is essentially the pain point that we are trying to address. The problem statement that Uniser Smart Spaces is trying to address is the fact that as a designer and an architect and other consultants out there, they are juggling multiple tasks in their given domain. So you need to focus on, for example, design and materials and other essential solutions at the site. Whereas we are doing a parallel role, blending in your design with technologies that are modern, electrical, functional, and a need of your site. So we're doing the exact same role, but we are trying to take away that load as designers and architects and take it under a one single.
So my one thing to you is, what are the advantages of automation in general? Like, why does one want to do automation? If you can help me with that
question.
Yeah, so I think automation is not about just turning on lights and opening curtains. Automation is when you let the house essentially work on its own. It's about you programming steps that when the sun does at 2 o'clock, the house or the office.
So you're telling me that I'd say, supposing, I mean, a lot of buildings nowadays are, all glass structures, and in the evening it gets really hot. I mean, post 2. So you have such systems where the curtains shut on their own at a particular time.
Exactly. We're looking at this on a building level. We're looking at building management systems where we are mapping the sun movement across the building.
Wow.
You can have the entire building glow its shade.
I would get your electricity bill down by so much because the house won't become that hot. Because most of these glass structures have this problem, and it's a big problem.
Exactly. So you have the blinds talking with the air conditioning systems, with the lights. So then the whole building can act in that fashion where the blinds can close down, so the AC doesn't need to have that.
And does it essentially require only wiring, or it can be wireless? So what you explained to me earlier is it can be wired. So there is a system for it, and then there is another system which is wireless.
It's like based on the space, we can suggest which one. Again, we can achieve the same thing with both systems. It just depends on.
Yeah, because the way I see Dhanraj, I mean, everything is getting smart. Our kids, our phones, everything. So it's high time that people become smart in their homes and really have a smart system.
And so addressing in a very short way for everyone who's listening to us, what is automation? It's only 3 things. It's about ambience setting, it's about energy efficiency, and eventually, as you said, it's about smarter living.
Right. So now in smarter living, I have this, again, another problem. I feel that, a lot of bungalows and villas are in deserted areas, and theft is an issue. You don't want people to know that you are going there because it's an outhouse, that you are going there only over the weekend. So how do you take care of such a thing?
So these sites we really think it out. We plan accordingly. So the whole thing is, again, one is the lights get turn on at random times in the day.
So there are timers, like you said, the timing.
Exactly. And it can be, and it's the option to even do it random. So it's not in it every day to turn on. It can keep changing.
Again, just another question that comes across my mind is, many times you're lighting in the gardens and you just want the lights to switch on at a certain time and switch off so that the rodents don't come in. So can this also be paired with that?
Yes, it can link with your outdoor lights, it can link with your sprinkler system.
That would be wonderful, right? And in the gardener required, and if you don't have a gardener, also it's a system, it works.
And the power is down to the driveway, so why not the driveway lights turn on and again open free? So we can do
to that extent. So this will run sensor when the driveway.
You can have the plates of the car arrived and it can open. You can even have a remote in the car or a card in the car which can link to the gate system.
So basically, we're trying to do what people abroad have been doing, that if tomorrow, which is going to be a problem coming up very soon, that your helps are not going to be there so long anymore, because everywhere we're going to have, everybody wants to get smarter and, go up in life. So maybe we might not have that much help in the house. So in that case, I think a smart system would work beautifully, yeah?
But that's what I'm going to tell you after the incidents occur.
True.
So now we're looking at security systems that can prevent someone getting in, can raise an alarm, can alert you, maybe when a door is open, it's broken. So we're deploying those systems also in the homes, with the automation we're doing remote management systems. So if something goes wrong in the house, we don't need to send our person all the way to the outstation place.
I get you.
In the office.
So you're telling me, if I have a site out of Bombay or out of, say, another city, you sitting here can help me with those sites too?
So we get a notification, that something has gone wrong. So even with you not being there, we can proactively address the issue and fix the problem.
So I was just saying, we met diagnosis.
We
Okay.
have a remote diagnostic system in all our sites to make sure that a pre-order comes to us first. So we already know that at the back end that there is some solution or some bug fix that we need to do.
So it is like a notification that comes to you, or you have guys across a screen seeing things. So however,
COVID made us realize that we do not physically need to send technicians, experts, solution providers to resolve things at site. One is that people don't prefer it anymore. Second is that we've all gotten smarter in these aspects. So remote diagnosis helps us to, at the back end, fix the problem that has occurred. Maybe you tell us, maybe proactively we do it, but whatever the issue is dealt with first, and then of course, if it's required for us to deploy an engineer to site, we do that.
So I also have another a question to this is that very often I say, like power fluctuation happens in places and lights go off and then there is some electricity failure somewhere. How do you help with automation at that point? Because that's one scare that I am. I mean, everything is smart and suddenly power is gone. Now what? And when the power does come back, then what? So I had somebody ask me this question that my curtains are all shut. Now what do I deal with this? So is it that the curtains and everything can open even without the automation? And how do you help us solve such a problem?
I'd like to ask this question because this is a problem which Kunal, you can.
Yeah, so I think basically, what people are buying generators, they have these generators for the outhouse, the buildings, but generators take 2 to 3 minutes to kick in. Or sometimes, you can have it. So
Well-
what we always do is we put a UPS on site. Essentially, it can do a 2 to 3 hour backup, that's it. Then it just allows the devices to shut down properly.
Wow.
And in the changeover, they're able to, stay.
So how big or small is a UPS?
A UPS can start, as small as a small box, 1 kVA UPS, going up to a slightly larger box. So you don't necessarily need such a big space, the entire area to fight for it. You can put a very small part of your, distribution board. And again, with our systems like curtain motors, things like that, you can always draw the curtains even without the power.
Wow.
So it's not that you're going to get stuck.
That's damn good, yeah.
Yes.
Because that is a issue. And every time that I'm thinking of using, smart homes, I want to do smart homes in a remote area, and I'm thinking, if the backup goes away, if the electricity goes away, then what? And what happens if there is some leakage? Is there anything to that?
Yeah, so we do have leakage sensors with our system, so that can automatically alert you that there is a leakage in the space. Again, when getting into our system, automatically will shut off the power to our automation, which will protect it against, any short circuit or any case of fire or something like that. And then we'll be alerted that there is a short circuit, so we can visit the site and proactively check and stop this from, our different devices.
So this we've covered.
Designers, like you said, leakages will never.
I agree, but even then, one should be prepared, right? Uniser and places. We do the best that we can, but nature proves on roll too, so you never know.
The DP make it strategic.
Yeah, that I agree. And one more very like a question asked by a lot of clients is that I see a lot of these like you have where like tabs put up everywhere. A lot of people feel that my help is using this tab and then it doesn't work, and also along with the tab you have a switch system also, like is it together?
It's actually a combination of digital screens as well as keypads, so that to address the exact issue that you're saying, so that a service staff can ensure that they just need to push a keypad, need to touch screen. It just becomes easier. It just helps things streamline better.
Yeah, it's better, no?
Also for the senior members, maybe it's an office, maybe it's a showroom. It's just easier for them to click and be a little bit old school in terms of that effect. But eventually, what the desired effect they want is what they.
So I also had this another question, and as I remember you telling me this sometime back, that say your parents are not living with you, but obviously you are on the surveillance all the time, you want to ensure that everything's proper with them. So if they've gone out and somebody rings a bell or a cook has to come in, so is there any such system where you can control it from the door and give them a code that they can enter and you can check on them?
So all these systems that you're talking about now, they are. Firstly, answering a question is yes. All the systems that you're talking about have all made life very simple in terms of access, in terms of surveillance, in terms of safety. Yes, so a doorbell can be clicked. You could be in any part of the world and you could give that person access through immediately releasing the lock, or sending them a OTP. Any sort of.
Yeah, because we working women, we're out all the time, and if some help has to come in at a particular time and we don't want to give them the code, then I think this would really work for them.
It's normal now, so it's a very regular part of smart living to be able to access the given space at given.
So these cameras also talk to you, like when you said you were into camera, you good camera, do they talk back to you? Like say supposing you're monitoring your child doing some mischief and you just want to tell her, hello, don't do that.
We can have two-way talking. You can
Oh, they're all, I was just asked you, I say, like,
kids' room, kitchen, very popular. Outside the main door, so your delivery person, you can have a conversation with them.
wow.
Then open the door accordingly, if you feel. The kitchen, you can talk.
Oh, we better do this at one of our sites, man. I really like this. I'll do it at my own house because it's very easy to monitor a child and say, hello, don't do that. I mean, once in a while, everyone just keep a child.
Client direct access to talk to you.
That's not happening. I better not have a camera around here for that. So I think we've dealt with smart homes in a beautiful way today. I would like to understand a little bit more about your AV as well as about your lightings also. So if you can, Manoj, to look up lighting in a different way, that the normal range of lighting everybody is aware of, general, right? Something which is new and like where I'm sitting, I can see the screen and it's fab. I mean, if I had something like this in a child's room or something, they feel like they're staying in natural light. So are there any such other systems that I'm probably not aware of or people are not aware of?
So see, as you identified and you saw something over here, firstly, before I come to lighting, the intent that we're trying to give to clients is the fact that they don't need to know about technology. They need to only share with us in casual terms what they want, what is the feel good factor, do they like the hotel spotlights? We tell them, you describe it well in the most simple manner. Won't you like hotel spotlights? Or do you like the feel of indirect lighting that they have stayed in the past? Or is there a particular site that you want to suggest to me? And something more iconic that you would have seen in any of the publications, and then we tell them how best we will achieve it. So of course, now coming to the more specific, in lighting it's a fast moving tech. Dimmable, tunable. Then we spoke about spotlights, and we spoke about there are COB downlights that give you the same look and feel as a hotel. Then of course what you're seeing here is a stretch fabric ceiling, which is very trending right now, which makes a ceiling look as if it's a normal ceiling.
So you're saying this can have prints also?
You can print cloth.
Wow.
You can print. So we recently did a very interesting site where it was a kindergarten school, and it's in the basement because that's the best they found in terms of real estate space. And the entire basement has been lit up as if the kids are standing on the grounds.
Wow.
So many of these kind of things we can do. The only thing is that one is we try and educate, the other is that if we get asked these questions, then this can be put together.
And I want to ask you this, is recently I was designing one showroom and I was very keen that the colors come right. Like, the yellow should look like nice, bright yellow. The reds should look deeper. So is there some kind of lighting that you suggest for that, as in showrooms, the way we should light up the clothes and everything so that they look different and better than reality? Because it's like makeup, when you go in white light, it doesn't make you look good, but the moment you go to a deeper yellow light, you look much better. I think even my photographers will agree with that they have the right yellow light for us to look good, and then you see me in white light and I want to like it. So is there any such thing?
So CRI, which is the color rendering index of a light, this is now becoming very an important subject, whether it's for a home, whether it's for a showroom, but it plays a larger role when you really want the colors to stand out. The higher the CRI, the better the true colors of the particular object will be seen.
So this CRI within the same four colors, or is there anything else?
That is CCT, color temperature.
Okay.
Basically 2700 Kelvin we start with, and we go to 6500 Kelvin roughly. But now we have requirements where we need to go to 1800 Kelvin, which is more anther color, which is the color of sunset.
Right. This is what I was asking.
7000, 8000 K, which is the color of frozen.
So cast to a fabric store, what is the right color that you would suggest?
So I'll give you a very interesting example of a project that we are currently piloting right now. The client is the owner of a food store, and it's a farm to table kind of concept. And what they need to do is to ensure that the food, when displayed for purchase, needs to really stand out.
I agree.
So your blueberries need to look bluish black. The red color of the apple needs to stand out. The yellow color of the banana needs to stand out. So CRI has to be very high. It should be in the range of 1995. This could apply to fabrics, it could apply to any industry. I just took one as an example. To go one step further, because we're having an interesting tech chat over here, to go one step further, lights are also now AI enabled. So they could detect what color it is throwing the light on. It could be apples, after apple.
Means AI is just even here, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my God, AI. AI is something that I am every day trying to gear up and then I hear this now, that AI even in lighting. I mean, I think either we go with AI or we are gone away somewhere.
I mean, you got to move with tech.
We got to move with tech. Yes.
Resistant to any change.
I mean, like 5 years back, I was the one who used to tell people, you don't need to do automation. It's completely all right. I mean, you can work with switches. And then when I go back to those homes after 5 years and I feel, I have given such wonderful lighting to these guys and they're not using the right thing at the right place. And I'm like, let's get some kind of automation and lighting solution which in the existing work can also be done. So I have missed out this point, so I'm coming back to that. If my house has got no automation system, because it's like 10 years back or 15 years back, and I want to try and at least get a little bit, is there anything that we can do for that?
Of course, yeah. So we have, again, it's case by case, we need to understand the space, but we do have options where we can achieve some level of mood setting, some level of dimming. We can provide you a good solution, maybe wireless keypad like connection.
No, so apparently in my existing switches of my house, you can attach something and it can help me do it.
We can have something integrated with the switches, which can have the management approach and also allow you.
I think the only thing here will be you need more circuits, right? Because you can, when the looping is not right, then again that might create a problem or no?
No, where we have systems that give directly to the false ceiling. We even have smart drivers now where we can, control the lights individually if we want.
So that's great then, yeah, because that is something
you are referring to is also referred to as retrofittable automation. While we as such are not major advocates of retrofittable automation, it of course is a very good tech to have. For homes that missed the automation technology curve. And let's say you've done your interiors about 7, 8, 10 years ago, and you did not go with automation for various reasons, you do have the ability to go for a retrofittable automation.
So there is retrofittable automation, then there is wireless automation, then there is the wired automation.
The only thing is with retrofittable, it's like there are a lot of brands out there, at very different price points. Not so many are very old in the market. Some are just new. So it's very important which one to put into your house. It's not always the price. It's very important what brand you're going with, and is it the right fit for yourself?
I think it's also very important for the designer to educate the clients as to which company you should take after sales service, whether be it a vendor, whether be it the switch company, whether be it the lighting company. I mean, there could be various people I come across people doing local lights and everything, but I never go for them because I feel बाद में अभी they'll put it and then later on something goes bad and you go back to the store and they might not even take it, they might not even answer you. Forget about taking back. We also know that a driver has to be changed, but somebody needs to help you out with the system, and that's where I think even Uniser really helps us overall, because you guys really help us with not only our systems but the back end. I mean, I would vouch for your after sales service, and I think be it any lighting company, very, very important key factor for any client is after sales. I mean, whoever you go with, after sales is the most important thing. I mean, today you call me and tomorrow I will not pick up the phone, then that's not working. Because lighting is, it can create big hazards if you don't deal with it in the right way.
I think this is fundamentally one of the most important things that I'd like to talk about is it's one thing to illuminate, automate, and then transform a space, which is why we are built. But the major part of our behind the scenes handover to any client is the fact that we put in a lot of time, effort to train the client how to use it, because we firmly believe that if it's not used, then we've been defeated. We don't want that to happen. We want it to be constantly used. Let there be a lot of snacks. It's okay. We're here to correct.
I also feel snacks is a part of life. I mean, who is perfect or what is perfect, and what is perfection to you might not be perfection to the other person. But the fact that you're saying that you're there to give us a solution to help us with a problem is good enough, because that's what we need as architects, as a client perspective. That's what you need the most.
Certain thing that we do is after we completed the basic hardware execution on the site is one, go through the entire snag is that we feel is a potential snag. We discuss with the client like what is the requirement, what are the elements of technology that they want to communicate. You know, you want to keep it simple, you want to make it very complicated, everything is doable. So talk to us, tell them what you want to do. And after fixing the snags, we then had a single point service desk.
Wow.
That takes care of everything that we have done for you. Be it one light, it could be a very small thing, or be it your CCTV camera, be it your lock. You have only one service number. You have only one ticket to be followed up on.
Yeah. I am very intrigued about one thing. As an architect, most often when people talk about music systems, and I'm thinking, we've got those big speakers are going to come and they're going to ruin my interior. So is there any such solution where either, I would love it if they just be invisible, or even if they are there, they're just like nice piece of art, or somewhere there is a little bit of glass, or where it looks decorative and more impressive rather than boxes that I want to just hide. So do you have any such solution?
Yeah, so I think with audio now, it's more about blending into the space than to stick out. It's more about how well it can, be camouflaged in the space and give you that same great output of a, box-like speakers. And so, again, as you said, invisible, we do have actually invisible speakers.
Invisible one we see.
Exactly. So we do it in the false ceiling inside the POP or inside the wall, in the G-Timson, and it's literally we paint it over and you don't see it, and it's a wow factor as where's the sound coming from.
Wow.
And you can go home theater with it, you can do your bedroom audio.
But then the audio would not suffer if it's going to be like invisible. Is there any issue with the audio, like the output of the audio?
No, so the entire speaker is designed to be within the wall,
Okay.
and it uses the wall as a medium to get out the sound.
So what about the services about it? Like today, if it gets spoiled in the long run, then what does one do?
So we have certified installers for these speakers, a lot of training, and we install these with a lot of precision and a lot of testing. Once it's installed, it's sort of permanently installed into the space. So the idea is that you would never need to, ever need servicing.
Oh, so literally that's what happens. Wow.
We install it.
And if I don't want to take the risk of putting it in the wall or in the ceiling, is there any good looking speaker for the same?
So again, we have other speakers that we have. So we have very unique, glass speakers that you can place in front of a.
I like literally like glass, and then you have speakers in it. Wow.
So we place it right in front of the window. It can blend. You can see the view, but still have that great output. There are ceiling speakers that can, really do the same job. So there's a lot of options in terms.
See, when I entered your place, you had some round ball kind of a thing, and it was just like bouncing. What is that speaker system? Like, how does that work? Is it got good bass, or what is it?
Yeah, so basically it's a plug-and-play speaker, very simple, just power it up. And it's a very good, very powerful speaker, and your design is to have it as a statue or like a showpiece in your house. And very good output. It has great designs.
So just a good looking piece, yeah? Wow.
Great for music, for young people.
So interesting, yeah. And similar thing, I mean, most of the time I feel the latest TVs, the television sets don't have very good output. So at that time, do you have like a different kind of sound bar or something like that?
Okay, so buying the best TV and buying the best sound should be amazing. So I say, bro, they're compromising the sound because they're getting so thin now with the TV.
Right.
And then you got to really turn up the volume to understand the dialogue. So we have very good sound bars now. In high-end sound bars that can really improve the audio and give you a good experience.
So sound bar, by the main word, sound bar is a bar which produces sound.
Exactly. Just
okay.
A bar that can plug into the TV.
And then obviously there are different companies and the different punches. So does this have to be controlled with like does it have a woofer with it, like a cordless woofer or wooferless?
There are a lot of variants. You have some which have a corded woofer, some cordless woofer. Now what we are getting a lot is it inbuilt into the soundbar.
On God. That means you don't need anything. Like I can just have a TV with a soundbar and that's it.
So again, this is application based. So this would be ideal for a bedroom or a big living room would not, be a good fit for a soundbar. It needs to, carry in the entire space.
What about your? I see very often now when you have your, you have your projector, which is like a long throw, but then I believe there's something new like a short throw, which just automatically starts and.
Now what we do is, in a lot of spaces, like especially like for example, living room, we provide a unit like how you would have a TV unit. The unit will have a projector inbuilt into the unit.
Okay. Wow.
So button, you have the draw thing with the projector, and you have the screen coming from the unit upwards. And
It's like that the TV also comes up now, even the projector comes up.
And you have a home theater right from the unit. It's a plug and play simple system, and you can integrate that with any of your high-end audio system or soundbar. But then that adds a lot of value to the space, and it gives you an immersive experience. So while sports matches in the living space or the large space, they can have that option.
So the acoustics has to be right also, no? As a designer, I mean, if I don't give the right carpet or paneled walls or the right ceiling, then obviously the output of the speaker will not be right. So at this point, I would like to say that, I mean, as a designer, acoustics is a very important role when it comes to the AV system. I mean, they will provide you the best, but if your place is not acoustically done well, the sound is going to blur. I mean, if you have marble flooring and don't have a carpet, it's not going to absorb sound. So
acoustics is one thing, but a lot of places we can't control the acoustics.
Right.
We try our best to achieve maybe 50% of what we should.
Right.
But then it's our ability in terms of calibration.
also, it's not necessary that I have to have it superly acoustically sound. Okay, that's good.
Our experience center, for example, university is not acoustically treated. But the idea is how well we've calibrated it to feel, the lack of the echo or the great sound. And that's what you're going to get in your house. Because that's what we put a lot of effort into in terms of calibration of the system.
So the sound, I had one more question about sound. Let's say, supposing I have one area where I've got 4 speakers. Now I have one bedroom, I have another bedroom, I have a third bedroom, and I want to have some how when you go to a hotel, like a nice pipe music going on everywhere. So your system can also be integrated like this, wherein there is one output and then your 4 speakers and your single speakers can get connected. Is there any such system?
Yeah, so now that's a very common thing called multi-room audio.
Multi-room audio. Okay.
The idea is now you have speakers in your bathroom, in your bedroom. It could be a portable speaker or integrated in-ceiling speaker, but they all share a common technology. On Apple, it's called AirPlay. On Android, they do have apps where you can cast. That gives you an option of which room would you like to play a song in, or which rooms would you like to play.
So is there other speakers which are good for outdoor also, like when we do a lot of outdoor spaces, are there any nice speakers for that?
Yeah, so we do have great rock speakers, what we call it. So it looks like a rock, blends in with your plants and gives you great output. We have other waterproof speakers that you can place next to a swimming pool. We have designer speakers now, very high-end, and look like a coffee table with marble.
Wow.
And it gives you a very good output. So outdoors become a very big thing. Spending time outdoors, outdoor projection systems, speakers.
We have outdoor projection system just like you have that I didn't know. Okay.
Large screen entertainment experience outdoor as well. We have waterproof TVs now that we can.
That's interesting. Are they in India or they're not in India as yet?
Important for clients.
So if I want to order it for a particular client, you can help me ship it down. And also help me with the after sales service for the sale, or
we ensure that we gives you the proper after sale.
So then that's an excellent thing, because most of us have, I would love to get it for my outhouse, but then the problem is after sales.
So Asumi, actually, you bring in a very good point over here that we talked about so much in terms of sound and visual. See, today, in benefit of your viewers also, everybody is well traveled. Everybody has access to the internet. You can go on to various sites. Someone has a friend somewhere who can get a speaker. Somebody has some access to something or the other. And there are so many brands available. And there's so much hardware. It's very easy to get confused if you do this journey alone. So that's where we come in. We want to understand what your requirement is, what the space is, where we understand the design from you, what the size is, what are the materials being used, thereby we know what's the level of calibration that needs to be done, and eventually blending it into the budget.
And that's the most important thing.
We give you the word, because you may have heard it in some part of the world during your travel or vacations, but is it suitable for you? Is it the right thing to do? Is it balancing out your budget for the overall space? That's where we actually.
So when I do this, I always see, like, when you enter a particular store or B particular store, they have a very different fragrance. And so do you have any such automation for that? And I mean, I put it there, and when you enter my place, automatically the fragrance comes in. Is there any such thing?
So very interesting. So right now, neural marketing, marketing
Yes.
is a very picking up requirement.
Agree. I'm trying to find somebody who can make the scent that I want. And then, when you enter, it's just got a nice fragrance coming in.
That's we get this asked a lot these days, because when you enter a particular brand or you enter a particular hotel, there is a particular fragrance that gives you brand recall.
True.
It could also be just pure aromatherapy. It could be just stress relief, or it could be a brand recall. Whatever be the intent. There are perfumers that what we come in is with the ability to ensure that the diffusion of that fragrance across your space is homogeneous, is uniform, and again is smart. When I mean smart, I mean it's IoT enabled, it's connected to the automation system. We're able to control the intensity of the fragrance. It does not hamper the warranty of your air conditioners because it's not inside. And you can also decide what is the start time to that machine, the stop time, so that no energy is wasted and no fragrance is.
With all this, I want to understand one more thing, is that you would provide me, like, say, if I'd given you my electrical layout and whatever wiring is going on and everything, I mean, to all of us, we don't understand it, right? As in so much detail, except for our electrician and your technical guy. So just to bridge the gap for the client, would you give us like a drawing on the layout, like explaining how the wires are moving in and all?
Yeah, so we will give you a process walkthrough.
Yeah, so when we design the entire space, we try to identify what are the products being used, what is the solution being oriented, and then we take the electrical layout and we actually design the wiring for the entire space as to what wires required for which device, how should the wiring go, where should it terminate, and the entire wiring is completely designed by our team in-house, and then we send out the plans to the electrical contractor to execute. So the process of the wiring, we have our teams going in and checking, is it as per what the requirement is the wiring correct? And we also do provisional wiring that we know our client might change his mind in the future. They might want something new. So we plan the entire space, so that it's perfectly done.
Oh, perfect.
And essentially,
A lot of wires coming in, it's just boxed well, right? So one doesn't have to look at that and get scared, like, oh my god, so many wires coming in from all kinds of places.
It's beautifully finished by you.
So that's fine, right? Okay. And I can see such wonderful switches at your place. So I just wanted to ask you, besides having plastic, is there any other types of switches? Like, I mean, many times we do vintage ones. So you have the vintagey switches and the brass or metal, or, I mean, leave aside the conventional, we all know most of us are aware of the conventional switches that are available in the market. But besides that, are there any other brands, or in terms of material, that you recommend for switches also?
I think now what we call an automation, call it keypads. These are, we can get in sort of any material now. We have brass, we have bronze, we have a touch-based keypads. We have those that you can blend inside the coffee.
Do you also have a light in the? I'd seen at one place, these switches light up a little bit, so you don't need a night light again. It's just
the indicators are there.
We have a night light option.
Yeah, night light option.
And the indicators are there, which will brighten and dip based on your lighting in the space.
And one of my client had asked me this question, so I'm asking you this: that can your automation be integrated with normal switches also? In the sense, I have few switches that for the general staff and few with automation. Does that work? Does that blend work?
So we do it in very one-off cases. We do not recommend it because I feel, again, we're complicating the client's life by giving them a keypad and giving them switches. Or if we're giving them switches, then again, it's more that, what is the switch going to do? It's again playing the game of, turning on switches and seeing which light.
So in short, if once I come to you, so if I sum this entire thing about automation, all any designer or any client needs to do is sit with the designer on the look and feel that you desire. Ask them the questions that, okay, I want this lighting to come here and this lighting to come here because I want to emphasize on this painting or this artwork or this mural or whatever. And then come to you with that layout, and then you will help me integrate this whole thing into the lighting as well as the automation together to give the right lighting, right feel of space, and at the right temperature of the lighting that is required, right? Have I summed it properly?
I mean, to make sure, we've actually tried to coin our tagline very similar to what you just described. Is as Uniser Smart Spaces, we illuminate, automate, elevate, and transform. So we illuminate in terms of lights, we automate for all the automation that we've talked about. We elevate your standard of living with smart living, and then we transform a given space to make sure that it suits well with the blended interior.
I think we've covered this brilliantly. I think today when I'm going to go back home, I think I've become an encyclopedia of automation, of illumination, of smart spaces. And we have Uniser with us today. And if you have any questions, you can just ask us questions and we can help you out, answer them. Again, it's not me answering, it is the technical guys answering. So Dhanraj and Kunal are highly technical guys. So they're not vendors who just have a company that they're giving and selling. They're educated in this format. I mean, Kunal is a sound engineer, Dhanraj is an electronic engineer, and together that team is fabulous. I've been working with them for years and years together, and the most important part is they receive our call. The moment we give them a call, things are taken care of, and every day to day, whatever new items are coming in, they always educate us. They never force us to buy A, B, C. I mean, I've called up Dhanraj and said, I want this. And he says, you know what, maybe you don't need to do all this. It's okay, just do a simple system. And that's what I love most about you guys, because you're honest and true to your profession. Because I myself believe it's very important to be honest to your profession. If you are honest, things are going to come to you that way. If you're just going to con people and just, to get somebody down, the life is too short. And thank you so much, Smart Vibes Only. I've got the best vibes today, and thank you.
Respond to Uniser Smart Spaces for any questions, or if they write to you, we are happy to just address.
So Dhanraj, I would request you to even give me your email ID if possible, so people need not even get to us to get to you. If you give us your email ID and also your Instagram link or whatever YouTube link that you have, I mean, this would really help people. And let me tell you, doesn't mean you need to buy from them. They're very good friends now. You can just approach them for help, and I'm sure you'll get the right solution. So Uniser is the solution to things. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.